All right, today we're going to talk about adding integers. Okay, let's first talk about our rules. Some of y'all were asking about them the other day, and rules for adding integers. Okay, rules for adding integers. First rule, and we've got to remember, first of all, that you can only add two numbers at one time. Okay, you can't add three at one time. You can do it fast, but you can't do it at one time. Okay, so that's the first thing we need to remember is that you got to do it one pair at a time. When we're adding integers, when they have the same sign, just add the absolute values and keep the sign. Okay, when it's the same sign, just add the absolute values and keep the sign. So, if I had 4 plus 9, they're both positive. So I just take and add their absolute values. 4 plus 9 is 13, and it's positive, because that's what they started as. Okay, if I had this, negative 4 plus negative 9, okay, then I take their absolute values, which is 4 and 9, add them together, 13, and keep the negative sign. Okay, so that's the first rule. Second rule, when the signs are different, you subtract the larger absolute value from the smaller absolute value. Then keep the sign of the larger absolute value. Okay, so for example, if we had the same numbers, 4 plus negative 9, I got to take the absolute value of 4, which is 4, and the absolute value of negative 9, which is, what's the absolute value of negative 9? 9. So I take the larger absolute value, 9, and subtract the smaller absolute value from it. Okay, and you get 9 minus 4, which is, what's 9 minus 4? 5. And the larger absolute value is negative, so it's negative 5. Okay, well, what if it was, the signs were on the other different numbers? So what if we had this, negative 4 plus positive 9? First step is still the same. Take the absolute value of the two numbers and subtract it. What is 9 minus 4? 5. The larger absolute value is the positive, so therefore the answer is positive 5. Yep.
So always with the negative you subtract?
When it's a positive and a negative. Yeah. Yeah, anytime you have a positive and a negative, you subtract their absolute values. You're not subtracting the numbers, you're subtracting the absolute values numbers. and it's always the larger absolute value. You're subtracting the smaller absolute value from the larger absolute value. Okay, and I think I said that backwards up here. Yeah, I said that backwards. So change this to smaller. Okay, and this one down here to larger. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few problems to do, about 3 of them. Let's see how we end up with them. Let's do 18. Let's go problems number 18. Problem number 28. And problem 32. 18, 28, and 32. All right. What is the original problem for 18? Do what? 13 plus negative 3. Okay. Copeland, what did you get? Yes, positive 10. That is correct. Okay, what was 28? Anthony? Negative 17 plus what? Oh, negative 32 plus 17. Okay. And what did you get, Laney? Negative 15? That is correct. Okay, what was 32? Copeland? 55 plus negative 28 plus negative 3. 6. Okay, so what is the answer there, Gracie? Positive 21. That is correct. Okay, anybody not get those answers? On number 32? Okay. You got 55, hang on, hush. 55 plus, you're going to put these two together. So our rule says when you have two signs that are the same, you add them together. 28 plus 6 is 34, and you keep the sign. So I have to keep the minus sign, or the negative sign. Now we have a positive and a negative, so we have to take the absolute value of the two numbers. So that's 55 minus 34. 55 minus 34 is 21. And the larger absolute value is positive, so it's positive 21. Copeland? You can do that. When it's all addition, I just try to find the ones that have the same positive or negative sign, put those together before I do anything else. That way you don't have to subtract twice, and you don't have to remember that rule twice that sort of messes people up sometimes. Okay? Do we have a meeting? Okay. All right, so your homework. Glad you know that. That really matters. What's that got to do with price of tea in China? Nothing. All right, you got 15 through 38, 1.5, 15 through 38, 40, 41, 45, and 47 through 50. Okay, we still got, let's see, what do we got? We got about 20 minutes left in class, so, hopefully you can get a lot of that done. If you have questions, that's why we're doing it now, so you can come ask me if you have questions. Laney? Yeah, it's 15 through 38. All right, get started.